Welcome to the third and final lesson in our Back to Basics series. Classic DJing, but on modern DJ gear.
Yeah, this has been great fun, especially for you if you have always wanted to do this, lifelong fan of DJing and DJing culture, but have always been a bit daunted by the tech and felt it's too complicated for you. And of course, we've got a lot of experienced, lifelong veteran DJs here as well who know how to do it. They know how to mix. They used to do it back in the day, but got stuck with the technology and just don't feel like they can make that leap
into digital, still doing it the old way. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and then there's people who've dabbled, thought, I'm into this, I'm going to try some DJing, gone and bought some gear, reached a crossroads in technology and basically got stuck, threw it away in the cupboard, and never managed to kind of like continue with it.
If that's you, if you're nodding along, this is for you. And in fact, this is all based around what you told us underneath the other two lessons, because we've asked for feedback and you've told us the things that are stopping you doing this. These are your 5 biggest myths, the 5 excuses that you are using to not do this thing that you've always wanted to do. So let's reel through them, shall we? At the end, we've got something very special for you as well, so hold on for that. So myth number 1, you have to learn on your particular gear. You've bought a piece of gear and quite rightfully you're thinking, I don't know how to use it.
Yeah. Please
help me.
Yeah.
Why is this incorrect? Why is this a myth, Steve?
Well, because the fundamentals, this course is back to basics. The fundamental basics of DJing are the same no matter what gear it is that you're using. But all of a sudden you buy a piece of hardware and you've got software with it and you think, what I need to learn is how to use this thing. And to a degree, there is a learning curve there. There's some things you've got to understand, but really it's the basics of DJing that you need to learn. And how
on that gear. It could be any gear, like driving a car. You wouldn't go and take a driving lesson and think, oh no, I've learned in a Tesla Model 3 or whatever and I won't ever be able to drive any other car. Of course not, because the basics are exactly the same and have been for decades. So there's 2 things here. 1, doesn't matter what gear you're using. But 2, of course, like cars, DJ gear has moved on over the years. It doesn't mean that if the last time you drove was 20 or 30 years ago, that you can't pretty quickly pick up how it's done today, because ultimately we all know it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you shouldn't be worried about that. And it's also music, because people love the immediacy of vinyl and CDs, and they think, oh no, nowadays you've got to prepare it and you've got to do this gridding and you've got to do this analysis, and I just want to play the music. You can play the music. We've shown you in the previous lessons. There need be no big process between getting the music and playing the music, right? So all these things that feel like you have to learn them actually haven't changed much, and they're quite easy to teach. So you need to learn on your gear? Nah. We can show you quite quickly how to do it on any gear nowadays.
Let that go.
Right. So number 2, you need to earn money to justify spending your money and time on this. In other words, if I'm going to do this thing, I better earn that money back that I'm spending on the gear, on the music, on the software, on the training, etc., etc., etc.
So listen, it's okay to have a hobby, right?
Doesn't have to be a side hustle.
Exactly. And I think that there's, if you were to get into golf, or you were to get into tennis, there's people who get into golf, right? And they spend anywhere upwards of 500, sometimes thousands on golf clubs and all the gear and all the caps and everything like that and the membership, and then go out and try and give it a go. Do you think that people who've taken up golf as a hobby are thinking, this is all okay spending this money because when I get on the PGA tour and I start earning some prize money, I'll be able to pay it back?
Of course not.
No.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby. You're doing it for fun.
There's something about DJing that kind of implies that you're going to make money at it, right?
Because because it is a profession.
But it's gone from being a profession, to a participatory thing, right? It's gone from something that, yes, you probably in the past would have been expected to have been doing for money, right? To something that it's not true anymore. You walk past any music store and what's alongside the bass guitar and the drums and so on in the window? Well, there's a DJ controller, because the owner of that store knows that a lot of people are just buying this stuff for pleasure and for fun nowadays.
And it's about, you get into DJing because you love music and you love sharing music with other people, and that is good for the soul. It's good for your mental health. It's like, Phil and I are both keen runners, and we do that to stay healthy, but also it keeps us well here. Like our partners will tell us we need to go for a run.
Yeah, you're a bit irritable.
Grumpy,
Get out for a run. So we spend money on shoes and on gear and on training. We've both got coaches and stuff.
Yeah.
I've got no illusions of being the next gold medalist for the United Kingdom.
No, the idea, but even people in my family who don't understand this sort of say, "Oh, have you ever won any prize money?" It's like, no, I'm doing this for fun.
Yeah. I'm spending my money on something that I enjoy.
Okay. That's okay.
So it's okay to have this as a hobby.
Yeah.
Right. So number 3, it's kind of connected. I'm too old to DJ. It's gone past. It's gone for me. I can't. There's no point now. So obviously, if it's a hobby, that takes away one of the objections here, because yes, you probably are too old to be the Olympic gold medalist. In other words, to be the private jet headliner at a festival nowadays. You know that. But there's lots of reasons why it's a great thing to do when you're older.
We actually reached out to people in our community just recently. We said, "Are you an over 50s DJ?" And the response that we got was huge, absolutely huge. And what we found, we actually had conversations with a lot of our students, people who've bought our training. And what we found is that people, especially during COVID, had a bit more time on their hands, and also, that sort of introspection, that coming to the time of life of thinking,
what do I really care about?
Yeah, what do I
really
about?
want to do?
What do I want to do? What do I want to learn? What do I want to use my time doing? And so many people decided, right, I'm going to get into DJing. I'm going to learn DJing. And there was a commonality here with these folks, that they got into it because they loved music and they loved sharing music with people. And initially, because of lockdown itself, they were only DJing for themselves, right? Or maybe their close family.
As actually all the professionals were at that time as well. It was a great level. No one was playing any gigs, right?
No. But in so many cases, a lot of these DJs who, may just a year before that have been thinking, I'm too old to DJing, this is never going to happen for me, were not only enjoying it and loving it for themselves, but also actually starting to play gigs and get opportunities to DJ to other people and even earn some money from it. But that wasn't the intent to begin with. The intent was, I love music, I want to learn how to mix it just for my own enjoyment.
And among this age group, the kids leave home or it's time to retire. And so you've got time on your hands. And there's this perception that DJing is not an appropriate thing to do at that point in your life, which hopefully, you realise.
You'll embarrass your kids no matter what you do.
That's very true. So actually that moves us nicely on to our 4th myth, which is you've got to keep up with modern music. You've got to play the music that's coming out right now. Otherwise, people are going to poke fun at you, and otherwise you're kind of not doing it right. I don't even know where this comes from, but it's not true, is it?
Yeah. Well, as well, I think as we go through life and generations change and music changes, we quite often will be keeping up with modern music and thinking, I don't really like this new stuff, this is not for me. So if you carry that idea that I have to play today's music as a DJ and you don't like that music, then you're not really going to you're not into it, you're not going to do that. But the music that you love and the music that you want to play is what you should play. And don't be fooled in thinking that younger generations don't know that music. You were talking about your
I've got teenage kids who use TikTok a lot, and the amount of music on TikTok that's old. I mean, my daughter knows the complete ABBA back catalogue and she's 12. This generation is so knowledgeable about yesterday's music. It's almost like modern online social media and sites are tapping into this 50 years of shared brilliance of pop music, and everyone's getting a sample of it. And actually that means that your knowledge is an asset. What you've got up here and the memories and the times, the context you can put that music in that younger people can't do is a huge asset, which you will find quite quickly.
It's true. And even if, we've been talking about doing DJing just for a hobby, just for yourself to begin with. But if you do have aspirations to play gigs, the likelihood is that those gigs are going to be, birthday parties, maybe mobile events, family events, weddings, maybe, if you really, if you get those kinds of gigs. And have a guess what music is being played at those events. What percentage of today's most cutting edge music do you think are being played to those dance floors. Very, very small.
Because it's all about nostalgia. It's about triggering memories. It's about making people feel happy with the music of their lives, not the music of this week or this month or even this year. And if you look at what mobile DJs play, the current music in their sets, as Steve says, is a small amount, but also current generally means within the last couple of years, right?
True.
You know, so don't think that you have to stay up to speed with stuff you don't care about. It's utterly untrue, and quite often you'll be missing the biggest asset you've got, which is that knowledge.
Yeah.
Right, so our fifth and final myth is, this is more a coaching thing, right? And this is specifically aimed at older people, and this is coming from my heart because I felt this recently. I need to know everything before I even begin. This is the feeling that you need to catch up on years of stuff you've missed, years of experiences you haven't had as an older DJ. And so you're utterly paralyzed before you even start. It's that overwhelm of having to learn something new, really.
Yeah.
Now, I want to share a story here. And again, this is very personal. Just recently, I have decided to do a university degree, right? I'm 54. I've decided to do a university degree and I'm studying it part-time. The pain I've gone through, accepting that there is this massive body of knowledge I do not know. Literally the first year has just been coming to terms with, I don't know any of this. And that horrible feeling of not knowing. And as you get older, you don't want that. When you're young, you know intrinsically that you don't know anything.
Yeah,
of course
you feel like I'm old enough now, I should know everything now. That it would be embarrassing to not know.
Exactly.
Something.
You hit a certain point in life when you're meant to have the answers. You're not meant to be this person who doesn't know it. So, and it's underneath, right? It's underneath your thinking when you try and learn something new. When you take the bold step to learn something new as an older person, you have to accept that there's this whole thing you don't know. The point of learning is that you slowly get that knowledge over time, but you don't get that knowledge by being worried about the fact that you don't know it.
Or not trying. I think
you get it by doing it. You know, you start doing the thing that it is you want to do, and as you do it, there's this virtuous circle where you start to learn the stuff that you didn't know, and the process is the point, right? But that process becomes harder up here as you get older. So I guess what I'm saying is it's okay to not know stuff, and it's okay to know that it's not going to be instant. Not knowing to knowing. There's going to be a process and it's going to take time.
And it's okay to go back to school.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Literally go back to school.
Yeah. You think like, oh, I'm capable, I've figured things out in my life. And so you start a hobby and think I should be able to figure everything out myself because I'm older and I'm smart. But why not go to school and learn properly, you know?
The point here is that there's ways of speeding up that going from not knowing to knowing, and there's ways of making it enjoyable. And that's where we come in, of course. We're a DJ school, we teach people to do this stuff. We've figured out over the years what's important and what isn't important, and the best ways to get people over those bumps that we've been talking about here, those myths that we've been talking about here. Which brings us on to the final part of today's lesson. We want to tell you about something very special, because as I said, we are a DJ school. We love helping people just like you to learn this stuff. And if you've enjoyed what's in this free training, you're going to love what's in our complete DJ course. Our complete DJ course contains everything you need, but nothing you don't, to get you quickly to where you want to be in this. It's based on our best-selling book, Rock the Dance Floor, and it's divided into the 5 big areas of DJing, which are gear, the geeky stuff, music, not only getting it, but preparing it and organizing it, mixing, it contains the mix techniques you need and nothing you don't. Trust me, these are the ones that all DJs are using all the time. It also talks about how to perform, and of course performing today isn't just about playing in front of other people. You could be making mixtapes, you could be live streaming, it's all in there. And we talk about taking it further as well. So if your dream is to have your own mobile DJ business or to start making music, it's all in there, because we understand that once you've got hooked on this, there's all kinds of directions you can take it into. As I say, everything you need, but nothing you don't. This course has helped thousands of people just like you to get up to speed. And you can learn all about it on digitaldjtips.com. Just scroll down to the blue box and click on there to watch my presentation video and learn more about the course. Steve, this has been a lot of fun.
It's been great.
Glad we did this. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Please do continue to ask questions and give us your feedback in the comments. But for now, as we like to say, get good
Get out there.
and make the moments. Till next time.
See you.